Before stories belonged to anyone, one tiny spider tried to steal them from the sky. He had no army, no crown, no strength to frighten gods or monsters. But Anansi had something more dangerous, a mind sharp enough to turn every enemy's pride against them. Today, we enter the world of Anansi the Spider, the legendary trickster of Ashanti folklore from Ghana, also known across the Caribbean as Aunt Nancy. He is clever, funny, greedy, brilliant, and impossible to ignore. And in his most famous tale, he attempts the unthinkable, buying every story in the world from Nyame, the sky god. Anansi isn't your typical hero. He's small, often lazy, driven by hunger or greed, but possesses an intellect so sharp he can outwit anyone, from mighty gods to fearsome beasts. His tales aren't just entertaining. They're packed with moral lessons, explanations for the natural world, and reflections on human nature. So, settle in, because our first story is perhaps Anansi's most famous and significant. The tale of how Anansi stole the stories from the sky god. Long, long ago, in the time before time, there were no stories on earth. All the narratives, all the wisdom, all the knowledge of the world belonged solely to Nyame, the sky god. Nyame kept them locked away in a wooden box, high in the heavens, guarding them jealously. The people of Earth yearned for these stories, for they knew stories held the keys to understanding life, but Nyame was unwilling to share. Now, Anansi, though small, was ambitious. He approached Nyame with a bold proposition. "Oh, Nyame," he chirped, in his most respectful voice, "I wish to buy the stories from you. I believe they belong to all people." Nyame merely chuckled, a sound like distant thunder. "You, Anansi? A mere spider? You cannot afford my stories. Their price is too high. You must bring me 4 impossible things: Maboro the hornets, Onini the python, Osibo the leopard, and the Moesha, the fairies or dwarfs of the forest." Nyame believed this challenge would silence Anansi forever, but he underestimated the spider's cunning. Anansi, undeterred, set off with a plan forming in his tiny mind. First, for Maboro the hornets. He filled a calabash with water, cut a large banana leaf, and went to the hornet's nest. He began pouring water onto the leaf, mumbling to himself, "Oh, how foolish I am. It always rains, but I can never tell if the rain is heavier than the dew." The curious hornets emerged, buzzing. "What are you talking about, Anansi?" "Well," Anansi replied, "I'm trying to decide if the rain or the dew is heavier. I think the dew is heavier, but some say the rain is." One brave hornet, eager to prove its intelligence, flew forward. "Nonsense, Anansi. The rain is clearly heavier. Let me show you. If I go into your calabash, and you cover it with the leaf, you'll see that the calabash becomes heavy with rain, proving rain is heavier than dew." Anansi readily agreed. As soon as the hornet and its entire swarm flew into the calabash, Anansi quickly sealed it with the banana leaf. "There," he declared triumphantly. "One down." Next, Anansi sought Onini the python, a massive snake feared throughout the forest. Anansi found Onini basking in the sun and began to argue loudly with himself. "My wife says you are longer and stronger than the palm branch. I say the palm branch is longer and stronger. I bet she is wrong." Onini, annoyed by the spider's chatter, lifted his head. "What are you babbling about, Anansi? Of course, I am longer and stronger than a mere palm branch." "Prove it then," Anansi challenged. "Let me tie you to the palm branch, head to tail, to measure. Then we shall see." Onini, flattered and confident, agreed. Anansi tied the enormous snake securely to the branch, using every bit of his strong web. "Two down," he celebrated. For Osibo the leopard, Anansi dug a deep pit, covered it with leaves and branches, and then waited. Soon, Osibo, stealthy and powerful, came prowling through the forest and fell right into Anansi's trap. "Help! Help me, Anansi!" cried the trapped leopard. "I'll do anything." Anansi, pretending concern, said, "Oh, dear Osibo, I can help you, but you are so strong, you might hurt me by accident. I must tie your legs to a tree before I pull you out." Osibo, desperate, agreed. Once his paws were securely bound, Anansi easily pulled him from the pit and delivered him to Nyame. 3 down. Finally, Anansi sought the Moesha, the elusive forest fairies. These tiny, Ethereal beings were known for their shyness and their inability to resist a good imitation. Anansi carved a wooden doll, coated it with sticky palm oil, and placed it near a footpath, along with a bowl of yam. He then hid nearby. Soon, a Moesha came dancing down the path, saw the doll, and said, "Good morning, little wooden lady." The doll, of course, said nothing. "Are you so rude that you won't greet me back?" the Moesha asked. Still no reply. Angered, the Moesha slapped the doll. Its hand stuck fast to the palm oil. "Let go of me," it shrieked, striking with its other hand, which also stuck. Soon, all the Moesha's limbs were stuck to the doll. Anansi emerged, untangled the fairy, and presented it to Nyame. For down, Nyame, the sky god, was utterly astonished. This small, insignificant spider had achieved the impossible. Impressed by Anansi's sheer ingenuity and determination, Nyame declared, "Anansi, you have paid the price. From this day forward, all stories belong to you, and through you, to all mankind. They shall be called Anansiism, Anansi stories." And that, my friends, is how Anansi brought stories to the world, transforming himself from a mere creature into a pivotal figure in African folklore, the ultimate culture hero who gave humanity one of its greatest treasures. This epic tale perfectly encapsulates Anansi's character. Clever, resourceful, sometimes a bit self-serving, but ultimately a force for change and progress. Many Anansi stories explore the consequences of his trickery, often teaching valuable lessons. For example, in another famous tale, Anansi tries to hoard all the world's wisdom in a single pot. He struggles to hide it at the top of a tall tree, constantly bumping it and failing. His young son, watching from below, points out, "Father, if you put the pot on your back, you could climb easily." Anansi, humbled and embarrassed, realizes that true wisdom cannot be hoarded, it must be shared. He smashes the pot, scattering wisdom across the land for everyone to find. Anansi's tales didn't stay confined to West Africa. Through the transatlantic slave trade, these stories traveled to the Caribbean, where Anansi transformed into Aunt Nancy, becoming a symbol of resistance, wit, and survival against overwhelming odds. His legacy lives on, influencing literature, art, and oral traditions around the globe. So, what can we learn from this cunning spider? Anansi reminds us that intelligence and wit can overcome brute strength. He teaches us about the power of storytelling itself, how narratives shape our understanding of the world and connect us across cultures and generations. But he also warns us about the dangers of greed, pride, and deception, showing that even the cleverest trickster can sometimes fall victim to their own cunning. Anansi is a complex character, a reflection of humanity's multifaceted nature, both the good and the bad. His stories are a timeless testament to the enduring power of folklore, reminding us that even the smallest among us can achieve extraordinary things with a little bit of wit and a whole lot of courage. What are your favorite Anansi tales, or perhaps other trickster characters from around the world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of Anansi, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Weemin Factory for more explorations into myths and legends, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until then, keep telling stories and keep exploring the wonders of our shared human heritage.